Good afternoon, everyone. If you are lost, you cannot find your clusters, please stay on in this particular site. We shall have the sessions with Miss Andrea. For all those who are lost, please make sure you find your way into this room instead.
Be more considerate. So be also at the same time be open to informal feedback from your students. Let them know that you may always be contacted. They can always send you a message. So again, this will be based on your consultation hours. So to show that you're empathizing with what they're going through, learn how to negotiate with your learners, with your students. Tell them the skill of negotiating. Teach them the skill of negotiating. Let's proceed to the next slide. Always keep it open. So what does it mean? Be the bigger person. So avoid putting learners on spotlight. This will boost their confidence. And aside from that, be understanding again of what they're going through. Actually, these are all interrelated. Okay, try to encourage them to be more critical thinkers instead of bashing or putting them into spotlight whenever they say something against you or against the university or against a course. So be open for comments and suggestions and corrections. Then again, remember to tell them that there should be respect, there should be boundaries. Okay, so you can always ask them along the way during the course, during the semester, you can ask them what's working for us. You can use the activity, what went well, what uh, what should be improved, what have you learned. So you can always ask them, how could your learning experience be improved? So we can also learn from them. So what do you want, or ask them, do you need help? What are the top 3 or 5 things that you've learned so far? So keep your mind open and be the bigger person in the online learning classroom that we have. Next. So for the next slide, if you can see it, learners are expecting to experience quality learning despite online learning modality that we have. So let them experience learning that will develop their skills. They will be able to, so that they will be able to apply the following: their advanced training, their competence, their knowledge, their learning, their experience, their ability, and their growth. So again, using your LMS, you may set up problem-solving discussions. You can do this by having it with between the faculty and the learners. This could also be between learners to learners, or sorry, learner to learner. Also, it could be a learner to a resource. So again, if you want to set up problem-solving discussion, it could be between the faculty and the learner, and then it could also be between the learner and the learner, so they will collaborate with their peers. And the next is learner to resource. So there are a lot of best practices that will help us address or provide the application of their advanced training, their competence, and their knowledge, but we just have to be creative as teachers. So again, whatever you will do, kindly align it to your learning expected outcomes, so they will really learn from the course that they enrolled in. All right, the next slide. It says here, sorry, no internet today. It doesn't mean that the learners will stop from learning. So you should be able to provide synchronous and asynchronous classes. So consider different situations of the students. So at FEU, we don't really check the attendance when it comes to synchronous classes, because we understand there are instances where internet is down at a certain area, and there are instances that emergency will arise. So still, even if they did not attend the synchronous class, learning should never stop. So blended learning is available that will provide and prove that learning is continuous despite there's no internet connection available. So this best practice is important since our students are thinking that online learning is anti-poor or not for everyone. So there are different modalities of learning. So make use of different forms of teaching and let them feel that they can always turn in their work or submit their work in different modes, not just through the internet. Okay. Good afternoon to all the participants. All right, next poll. So here, what we usually take for granted in an online learning is the ability for the students to collaborate. Give them options and make them collaborate. So blended does not mean that they have to work on their own all the time. So you can always create groups in your learning management system. Let's say, for example, in our university, we use Canvas, and using Canvas, we can make groups. I believe there are other learning management systems that can provide this, or you can also be creative and create Google Forms that will make them sign up for groups so they can still collaborate, because working with another student will make them feel that they are still in a classroom. They are not alone, they are not abandoned. So again, this is the learner-to-learner interaction or discussion that can happen, right? Or learning that can take place. Next, we have here. Let's try to consider the different types of learners in providing activities. Consider their abilities. Consider multiple. Okay, there you go. Hello, welcome po to our participants. All right, I'm sorry. Going back. All right. Again, let's try to consider the different learners that we have in our classroom. Not all activities are one size fits all. So what are we going to do is to provide differentiated learning activities. So consider their learning pace. Some are laggers, some are fast learners, exceptional. They can do it just in one snap. But again, this will, if you take a look in today's generation, even in the past, we have different kinds of learners and they have different learning pace. So what are we going to do is to provide them activities that will tap their multiple intelligences, provide modification to your students. Let's say, for example, you have a learning outcome that will, a learning goal that will ask them to create an advocacy. So instead of forcing them to write an essay, why not ask them to provide them options? They can create an essay, or they can write a song, or create a video, or probably write a poem, or create a poster, and then use your rubric to grade. But still, it should be aligned in the learning outcomes. So students will have choices, they will have options, and also at the same time you are tapping on their multiple intelligence. So you will be able to give them the opportunity to apply what they have and put it out into a skill. Okay? Make use of it, right? So again, take note of different types of learners. The next one is the preparation of your rubrics. So online learning, again, just like what our dean is always saying, it will never replace the face-to-face instruction. But for us to still provide the accurate grading, provide a rubric. It is important to provide a rubric, or sometimes you will also prepare a criteria for grading. So what you're going to do is to monitor student submission, provide timely feedback, and ensure that they will still getting quality education even in an online learning environment. So if they will see that you are reading their submissions, you are marking it properly, then this rubric will also serve as their protection as teachers. Why? Because if they try to question why did they have this, why did they receive this kind of grade, then you can always refer them to the rubric, and this is what I've used in marking your paper. So do not forget to provide the rubric along with the formative or summative assessment that you will have. Do not just give it after they have submitted the paper, so that they will be guided on how they will be graded. Okay. Next one. So the last, I believe, for some of the best practices, suggestions of best practices, we have the study plan. So we provide every learner a study plan that will serve as a guide in relation to their module, their course complete module, complete course module, and then let them experience, let them see the different weeks, so they can experience planning, they can experience, or they can really be hands-on in taking to consideration what to read right now, which week are we in right now, and what will I submit next week. So this study plan is very helpful so that there will be organization in your class. And at the same time, they will not be lost in when it comes to submission or deadlines. So again, this will also, again, become your quick reference guide if they ask you, ma'am, when's the deadline? What are we going to do right now? So in case you are wondering, you can always tell them, please refer to the study plan. Now, if you have further questions, then we can discuss it, right? Let me just also remind everyone that letting your presence be felt in the class, in the online class, is important, because just like in a classroom setup, when we go around, students are trying to be more attentive to us. Same with the online environment or learning environment. When we make them feel our presence, then they will feel like, I really have to do this and I should be on board and on task. So do not just abandon them. So this study plan is very important because this is their roadmap aside from CIB, right? Now, we have some tech tools and applications and websites that we may use. We have the Will Decide. We have the Bitmoji. The Will Decide. It's just like a roulette. So let's say, for example, you're doing an online class and they're all quiet and they don't want to talk, then give them options. Okay, let's try to see who's going to present first if they don't want to volunteer. Always ask them to volunteer. Now, if time is running out, no one's trying to volunteer, or no one's trying to raise their hand, so you can use the Will Decide. So there's this still element of surprise. But then again, do not force them to do it. Be creative in giving options again. No? So let's say, for example, you want to give them options on what to read, then use the Will Decide. Roleta ito eh. So you can put in the information, then just spin the wheel. They can spin the wheel online as well, and then they will be able to choose which one to read in your class. That's just an example, right? For Bitmoji, you can create your own avatar. For Flipgrid, it's a video creator. For Padlet, we've been using this. It's like an online post-it. The Pear Deck, the Nearpod, it's like online slides that's interactive. They can answer while you are discussing. Edpuzzle, these are like this is an application or a website where you can put video and then cut it and put question. Let's say, for example, you want to put in thought-provoking question after a minute in a TED-Ed online discussion, and then you can put in the question, then they can type in their answers. And of course, the Socrative, right? The Socrative is a video making application. I hope I'm correct. So the others, I'm not really that familiar yet with Socrative. I'm trying my best to use it. But for the others, I've been using it and it's all wonderful. Especially the general education learners, they love it. Next, we have the Creative Commons. If you want useful websites or channels that you may watch or let your students watch, Google Arts and Culture and Google Tour Builder. These are perfect. Museum Ed, sorry. These are perfect for online field trips. We have the Remind, the application. We also have TED-Ed, Canva, our favorite, ThingLink, Wordle, Quiz and Quizlet if you want online quizzes or games. Of course, Kahoot. And then if you want more videos, tutorial for um, um, websites or applications, you can visit tinyurl.com teacher-rich. All right. So that's it for this part of our discussion. I'll be asking our participants to think of questions. I know you have a lot of questions in mind, but then again, I would like everyone to, okay, I'm seeing a couple of questions already, and they're greeting us. Hi. Okay, here we go. I am going to post this tiny URL wherein you can put in your PECS. It is called PECS or PECS. Why? Because you can put in a question or a problem, and then think of the effects or think of its effects and the cost, and then let's come up with a solution. Now, I'm not asking everyone to put in effects, cost, and solution. You can think of a problem that everybody will collaboratively think of its effects, cause, and solution. Now, if you have a problem in mind and probably you know the effects and you know the cause and you have a wonderful solution, then probably we can learn from it and share it. So this tiny URL, kindly access this, tinyurl.com. This one, I'm going to show it to you as well so everybody can see it. So it says there PECS for General Academics or PECSGA. So you can access this. This is actually a Padlet wherein you can type. I also created an example so you can see how are you going to type in your answer. So it says there, kindly put in your name and your school and then type in a question, an effect, cost, and then a solution. So this is the part wherein we will have our Q&A, but we will do it in using the PECS activity. So while waiting for your answers, your contribution, I hope you can access this tiny URL. If not, please let me know. Okay, I can see some teachers are already typing in. Thank you. So for now, let's try to read some questions if we have. Do you know or have a website channels related to PE subjects, Miss Andrea? There are a lot actually, but right now I didn't get to collate all these websites. Probably we can discuss this in a little while. Or probably the best thing is we can collaborate. Participants, if you know best websites or channels, type it in the chat, a meeting chat, so we can help Sir JJ. Thank you, Sir JJ, for your question. All right, I'm seeing a couple of teachers typing in their answers. Later, I will show the Padlet to everyone so you can see their contributions. Again, I am encouraging everyone to type in their questions using PECS so we can collaborate. Don't forget to type in your name and your school. If you want to be anonymous, yung school na lang po sana. Thank you. Now, for those who are watching us live, you can also type in you can also contribute to this discussion. Just access this tiny URL. I am seeing Sir JJ typing in, Sir John, Miss, this is my name, Andrea Austria, sorry. I have an issue in, Please type in your school as well if you don't want to be identified, just the university probably, or the region if you want to really become an anonymous participant here in our activity. Just here in our activity because we know who's in this meeting. So while you're doing this, I'll be checking quickly the attendance. Just type in all your questions and your concerns. We will try our best to answer all the questions and, of course, try to discuss all the contributions of the participants in this cluster. But then again, just a reminder, we have to go back to our plenary by 2 p.m. So I'm going to give everyone a minute to write down their question or their problem. Thank you. Right now, I'm going to show everyone, I'm going to try to show everyone your answers or your, well, so let me just see if, another minute po to finish some of our questions. Again, if you cannot provide a solution or the effect and cause of your problem or your question, we can always ask our participants to help us answer some of these problems that we have. So if you would like to address some of the problems that we are seeing right now, you can raise your hand, virtually raise your hand, and we will acknowledge you so you can unmute. All right, so let's try to, give me a second. All right, sorry. So let's try to address some of our questions over here that we have right now. how can I motivate my students to engage in online learning because, okay, they're still typing. Again, if you want to raise your hand, so if you want to answer or read your question, you may do so. Please, I am encouraging everyone to please use the virtual hand raiser. Raise your hand virtually, so you will be acknowledged. I can see some problems in a particular, some problems here that might be best addressed by the school or your institution. Let's say, for example, when it comes to conducting laboratory exercises or specific courses, then probably we can address this in our institution, in our department, because right now we are going to focus on the discussion of the general education or general academics best practices and concerns, right? I know that you have a lot of questions in mind. I understand that, but we will try our best to address it. But if we cannot, then we will do our best to address those who are related to general academics. You really don't have to put the cause or solution, then we will try to resolve it. All right, so let's try to answer some question po. Sir Ariel F. Banting, do you want to unmute po or read your question? So it said, Sir Ariel said, how to handle performance tasks in this time of pandemic and having poor internet connection. I understand this is mostly the dilemma of teachers right now. So for performance tasks, hopefully we can prepare a rubric that will ask our students to prepare a video recording of their performance task, or probably if this is an output or a project-based or a performance that will include or that will involve an output, then probably send it through a courier. So that's what we do in FEU. We will be asking the students to ship it. So we can only do so much, but then again, if your internet's down, there are different ways like providing a point wherein they can ship their, or an area where they can ship their project, if it's a project base. So for a performance task, they can record it and not read. One best suggestion that I can give you is extend the deadline, because I know internet connection will be down, but then there are chances that it will improve, hopefully. Then we can wait. We have to extend the deadline. Then if there will be problems, then they can put in their project or their submission in a flash drive, so that they can ship it to you or to a point or an area. I hope I answered your question, Sir Ariel. Next question po. We have from Enrico S. Lucena, PUP Manila. Sir Enrico, do you want to read your PECS? Sorry, Sir Enrico. I'm randomly reading your questions because it's changing from time to time. Hello, Sir Enrico. All right, so right now, the problem that was stated by Sir Enrico is how to do my class in group process, since it takes a group of people in a class to do the activities. I understand this actually perfect because we would like to our students to collaborate. Now, the effects is I fear that the authenticity of the group process will be undermined. Cause group process is a class-based activity subject, since the COVID-19 pandemic face-to-face classes is not appropriate. The solution: accept the reality that changes are happening and need to look for innovation in doing class Wonderful, Sir Enrico. Yes, less physical activity, more on facilitation process. I agree, Sir Enrico. Then again, this is wonderful. Also, you can to avoid. I'm sorry, yan na wala tayo. So to avoid also ano bang tawag doon? They call it pabuhat in during group process or group activity. Class-based activity, you can always prepare peer evaluation for your learners. So let them know also if you're going to provide collaborative activities. Let them know that they will be evaluating their peers. So it's not just one person will work on. So a part of work on the project, a part of their grade will be from peer evaluation. This is very important so that they will contribute and they will still learn, even if it's a group activity. They will really exert effort in contributing. Thank you, Sir Enrico. Next po, we have from Cavite State University, Rezin Bahia. Ma'am or Rezin, do you want to read your PECS? Ay, no, wala. Ay po. All right. There you go. Wonderful. Sabi po ni Mr. Sin, how to teach laboratory classes. Effects, theory-based learning, and cost, less resources for laboratory classes. So for the solution, lab simulation or video demonstration, this is wonderful. This is our go-to right now because what's happening right now is under our control, not really our we didn't really predict this will happen. So what are we going to do is become creative and prepare lab simulations or video demonstrations. Then we can record it or probably download it and then probably share it through flash drives if they don't have internet connections and so on. Thank you, Miss. Thank you po from Cavite State University, Rezin Bahia. All right, we have randomly again po. If you have question, post it here. We will try our best to read all your actual questions. Hi po.
We have 11 minutes more.
All right, so we will try to wrap it up. Probably, Sir Rich, 2 minutes po. Sorry, 2 questions. We'll try to answer 2 questions po. So, but right now po, you can see naman po that everyone's putting in their problem, their question, its effects and costs, and then a solution. So you can probably see that the teachers are really creative. Again, for a slow internet connection, we can do analog learning. We can provide modules and put it in a flash drive and we'll give it to them. Right? Last 2 questions po. So from Maricel F. Rosette, how can we build student characters in this new normal of education? This is from MMCZI. The effects, progress can be achieved without character education. And C, the cause, students nowadays lack the culture that we have been practicing for a long time ago. The solution, okay, for this, I suggest always lead back your students to the core values of the university. It is important that you put it in the CIB because this will be their guide. This will be, always refer them. What are the core values of the university? Because even if we try to build their skills, their thinking, character should also be built along with it. So use the core values of your institution so that the student character will not be taken for granted in this new normal of education. Thank you, Ms. Maricel. And the last po, I apologize if we will not be able to answer all the question or read it. I hope you can read it right now. I know you can see it. And we can think of probably solutions if there's none over here. Last one po. Random po. Sir Jason from Filipino-Canadian Community Foundation College, General Santos City, know how to use technology, especially computer. Effects, this will be a big hindrance in amid of new normal way of teaching, cost, age, and or interest. Solution, it is good if you are eager to learn by with the help of those young ones who is techie and always be open-minded to learn and adapt new things and as aspects in life. Learning is always a continuous process. And of course, one best thing, correct, Sir Jason, I definitely agree. We have to try to unlearn so that we can learn more. Try to remove, declutter and try to throw out some of our previous learnings. Try to unlearn, and then probably we can open our our thinking to some new possibilities, and we can learn more. So unlearn to learn. Okay. Thank you, Sir Jason. Thank you so much for participating, for contributing. I hope you have learned a lot from this activity, and you can always use this PESC. I know you're using this already. Most of you are already using this in your class. So try to, if your students are kind of shy, they don't want to be put into spotlight, then we can use this if they don't want to speak up in the class. So any other question, Paul, from the group? So please take note of the answers of your cluster members so we can also learn from it. I apologize for not reading everything. If you weren't able to answer everything, my apologies, Paul. So yes, Sir JJ, you're welcome, Paul.
All right. So good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum. May hapon kaninyong tanan. Maayong hapon. Maayong hapon. Ano? All right. So we finally reached the afternoon session when we would probably be bidding each other goodbye, congratulating you for finishing the 5-day training workshop. Okay. This is the HIEd HIEd Bayanihan project. So at this point, we would like to welcome each and every one of you in our Zoom room. And we will first hear from our participants as to their impressions and what they would have to say about their engagement within the 5 days. So Sir Oli, you may now show us the second slide. Yes, we would like to introduce to you our representative from Luzon, Ms. Jocelyn Guevara, who teaches at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Okay, first of all, we would like to thank the organizers of this seminar for their amazing work and effort to help fellow brothers and sisters in the academe in this new normal. As someone who is not very computer literate, I found it difficult doing activities related to Moodle. I had a hard time following instructions due to my light incapability. However, I was able to eventually follow and properly do the activities. More importantly, I am now equipped with the knowledge on how best to approach online learning. I will be able to effectively teach my future students in this new normal using the resources available to me. So for that, I am truly grateful. I'll just borrow the message of Ms. Doctora Rivera. Always remember that the future comes one day at a time. Secondly, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And again, I'm fully grateful for thank you very much for HIEd Bayanihan. Thank you for this wonderful training you've given us, sharing the expertise of the of the lecturers. Thank you so much. God bless us all. That will be all. Thank you.
Thank you
Yes,
very
I'm done.
much. All right, great.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Jocelyn Guevara, who teaches with PUP, for her message pertaining to her involvement. And she said she was not techie, but somehow she's able to get herself oriented. And she knows she would have to perhaps work on it a little bit more in the next coming days before the school officially opens at PUP. Thank you. Now, I'd like to call now the representative from the Visayas. Okay, he teaches at the Cebu Technological University, Kent Batulan. Kent?
Good afternoon, fellow educators. Good afternoon, Far Eastern University administrators and Commission on Higher Education officials. Allow me to share with you my favorite quote of Franklin D. Roosevelt, and I quote, "A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor." We are in the era where our pedagogical skills are tested through a technological environment. We are shifted drastically, I say, from our comfort zone to a place where most of us are still strangers. But because we remain to our commitment to provide quality learning experience to our students, we therefore submit ourselves to be trained again to unlearn and relearn new skills. And this allows us to navigate on how to deliver instructions in the context of learning. Our principles of teaching have not changed, but because of these trying times and also a response to a call of being a technological-oriented educators, then we begin to embrace online platforms and educational applications. And these ultimately change our techniques and approaches towards the teaching learning processes. Anchored on peer tutoring, on the assumption that one can learn from the other is the core reason of why we are having this 5-day training. Through the effort of HIEd by tapping those more advanced universities like FEU in terms of technology-related mode of learning, if EU is kind enough to share its good teaching practices with us and even allowing us to walk through these by having a very interactive discussion and engaging activities like crafting course information booklet. This training confirmed such assumption. I believe, if not all, but most of us are now very confident to hold online teaching and even more ready on how to create an interactive online discussion to engage our learners. Different modules of this training help us to ponder our very role as an educator, guide us to realign our methodologies, and open our minds to reconstruct our instructional materials, as well as to improve and update our learning tasks and assessments. So in behalf of Visayas participants, our deepest congratulatory to FEU teams, resource speakers, moderator, and administrators of FEU. Likewise, to HIEd for initiating the HIEd Bayanihan project. From us, thank you and mahayong hapon.
Damo salamat, daghan salamat kanimo Ken, for sharing. Wow, you made a synthesis actually of what was part for 5 days. So we wish you all the best, all of those in Iloilo, and also Samar. We had participants from Samar. If I'm not mistaken, I think we had someone also from Bohol, and of course we have a couple of them from Cebu. So though we may be miles away or kilometers away, but feel free to get in touch with Dean Harold Kulala and Dr. Mayet Rivera if you would like to connect somehow no, to either get copies of the materials or you would need some guidance in implementing certain programs. So, daghang salamat kaninyo diha sa Visayas ug maayo unta, maayo ang pag-open, no? Pagsugod sa atong semester. So, daghang salamat. Now, let's move to the Mindanao, no? And we have with us Saidamin Bagalong from the Cotabato State Polytechnic College to tell us of the message of from the people of Mindanao. Sir Sides.
Okay, good afternoon to the organizers of this webinar, the Far Eastern University and the HIEd Bayanihan represented by Dr. Maria Teresa Rivera, to the incredible speakers, namely Ma'am Lorna Kahiwat, Sir Joseph Intalan, Sir Ariel Capati, Sir Angelo De Leon, Ma'am Andrea Austria, Dean Harold Kulala, Dr. Rosarito Swatenko, and most especially to teacher Richmond Lim, who patiently mentored us to walk through on how to use the Moodle. The moderators, especially to Ma'am Liz Abanto, who is very witty and accommodating, the technical staff, and most importantly to the participants from Mindanao, especially representing various higher education institutions. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to all of us. This 5-day free online training on WARD flexible learning has taught us many lessons in life, which can be applied as we start to teach this school year. But we have to ask ourselves first, how ready are we in this new normal learning environment? Honestly, we are all blessed to have this partnership between Far Eastern University and Commission on Higher Education, HIEd Bayanihan, for allowing us to become more ready, more competent, and eager to practice what we learn. Although this is not a walk in the park, but if we will put so much energy and enthusiasm, mind you, everything will gradually become easy. Ours is to look at this not only a challenge, but an opportunity for us to grow professionally. There's always a room for improvement to do good, to make a difference differently. The least thing we can do is to be innovative, resourceful, and always look at the brighter side. Let us make our students our inspirations and make this new normal our aspiration. Overall, the modules shared to us by the speakers, such as CELO, CIB, assigning and grading declarative and functioning knowledge, and the performance-based assessments are well discussed. Thus, it became easy for us to follow through. The Moodle as an LMS platform was to me very accessible, convenient, and easy to manipulate. I have tried personally several LMS platforms, but to me, Moodle is something that separates from the other because it has features that other LMS don't have. It may be because difficult for some, but what we need is constant practice. It is not perfection that we need, after all. It is for convenience and accessibility that what we need for now. Let us share these blessings to our colleagues, convince our administrators to do the same, and encourage our students to adopt this online learning. After all, learning is a continuous process. No amount of economic problem, not even this pandemic, will hinder us to stop learning. From the bottom of our hearts, our sincerest thanks, and may the good Lord continue to bless FEU, Commission on Higher Education, and those who are involved in this webinar for a job well done. And to the participants who are very cooperative, we are the luckiest people in the higher education institutions to be part of this webinar. Let us keep our energy as high as we can. Daghang salamat and assalamualaikum.
Well, alakum salam, okay? Inshallah, okay? We hope for peace to really reign in Mindanao so that classes will not be disrupted and you could go about your daily lives in a more peaceful way, and more children will not be rendered without access to education. So yes, we are truly honored that you have joined us, and several of you are from Mindanao, and we do challenge each and every participant to be the next trainer. You would be the mouthpieces. You will be the ones to further propagate whatever you may have learned from us, because we have not had the opportunity to reach out to all or every other school who may probably have gained from these seminars or workshops that we have had. So maraming salamat muli kay Jocelyn, kay Kent, and Sai. Now we have a message from the Commission on Higher Education. Well, today's a holiday, and maybe it's not that easy for them to probably get on board. They're focusing also on many other concerns right now. So she has sent instead her video message. So please welcome Attorney Lily Frida Miller.
Good afternoon, everyone. To the FEU officials, led by, of course, its president, Dr. Michael Alba, the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Maria Teresa Tridadino, and the team of the FEU HIEd HIEd Bayanihan project, headed by Dr. Maria Teresa Rivera, and Dr. Mirna Quinto, and to all the participants from over 200 institutions, from as far south as Marawi and General Santos, up to far north, from Batanes, from Batanes. Congratulations to everyone. You have just concluded a 5-day 4 hours every day of training, of grueling training, but I'm sure fun and very inspiring 5 days with your mentors from the Far Eastern University. And this initiative, we could only be very thankful and commend FEU as they responded to the CHED's call for higher education institutions to help each other in the spirit of Bayanihan during the COVID-19 pandemic by offering for free training to faculty members of various HIEs who need to further hone their capacity to the learning pedagogies that can use interactive, flexible methodologies and education technology, or what they call wired flexible learning options. I know that you have learned a lot, you have gained a lot, you have also expanded your network and gained friends. You now also have a contact in Far Eastern University, and I hope this relationship that you have developed in the 5 days will not stop after the training, but will in fact expand your network, because that is in fact the idea of the CHED HIEd Bayanihan. It will create that community, that interactive community of practitioners in the flexible learning, so that we can build this community of practice in a flexible learning system. Because as I tell you now, this is not also just one training. This is not just a training that is meant for our faculty and staff to comply with the demands of the transition to flexible learning. Flexible learning is here to stay. It is the future also of Philippine higher education, as the CHED is also gearing up towards not just from the transition but also towards the transformation of Philippine higher education. And to all of you, our friends from the Far Eastern University, your mentors, and and all and everyone, yeah, everyone in the university who in one way or another contributed really to the success of this training program, and of course the trainees to your higher education institutions that had, endorsed you and will support you and must support you in your in cascading and in echoing your learnings in this training, because truly this is one hopeful and bright moment in your lives and in higher education. Because years from now, when the Philippine higher education sector will be asked, what did we contribute to the sector and to the world to surpass the effects of the pandemic crisis on the youth, the learners, and the continuity of learning and the future of the world? This will be the narrative. This will be our narrative to the world, that the HIEd, higher education, HIEd Bayanihan, that amidst the crisis, individuals and the Philippine higher education sector, its communities, industries, and partners responded with empathy and strength, malasakit at katatagan, where the ecosystems bounded together, not just in the higher education sector, but everyone, because the responsibility that learning must continue is the responsibility not just of your universities, not just of the faculty, not just of the teachers, but of everyone, the family, the communities, the local government units, the other national agencies. These ecosystems bonded together to leverage their collective and complementary capabilities to comfort each other, to support, to reconfigure higher education, to reimagine the future of higher education, and reform the way we teach and the future of life and work. We do not, I would like to also emphasize this, we do not do this just merely to comply. We do not teach, we do not do research, we do not do extension just because it's a work. Otherwise, it becomes a burden, a yoke for us. But because we have been gifted by God with His talent to share and to deliver education, to change lives, and if we are lucky, we're able to transform the world. I commend FEU in its generous collaboration with HIEd amidst the crisis, and despite your own challenges in meeting the demands of class opening and preparedness for flexible learning. Because while the pandemic may have limited how we physically connect, our sense of community, as crystallized in the Bayanihan spirit, creates a stronger Philippine higher education, resilient, adaptive, and transformative. Our universities have created, through the Bayanihan spirit, connected classrooms of teachers, professors, learners as citizens of the world, coming together, learning as one, educating as one, and thereby hashtag we learn as we share. Congratulations, dear participants and trainees in FEU and the Far Eastern University. We wish you greater success in your endeavor for FEU, in your drive and aspirations to be the university of the future. For the trainees, faculty, and staff of various HIEs, I wish we are, personally, we are in one room when we can congratulate you personally, and I can see your smiling faces, and excited faces, with exuberance and joy after completing this course, this training. But I hope someday in a better future, I can meet each and every one of you. Huwag niyo pong kakalimutan ang pangalan ko. At ang HIEd, of course. And of course, you can reach out to your regional offices, because our regional offices are helping us also, and ensuring that you will be supported and you can deliver on your re-entry plan and cascade and echo all of these learnings to your respective institutions. To the faculty and staff, you are you are at the forefront of the dawning of Philippine higher education, embarking on it with more confidence and hope, and made braver and competent by this training from FEU. Together as one higher education community, welded by the Bayanihan spirit, we, CHED, and the higher education stakeholders will continuously move forward and succeed. Because as Henry Ford said, keep on moving forward. If everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. Maraming salamat and congratulations to everyone.
Maraming salamat din po, Attorney Amelia. Now, thank you also for trusting the Far Eastern University with this challenge to put up, of course, the training and reaching out to many faculty members all the way from Batanes to Sulu. And who could have imagined you come from different places and yet we were able to gather all together to the use of technologies. So it's an honor for us. And I hope for all the participants, you are witnesses actually to the capacity or capability of FEU, not only to deliver online learning, but also to share its bayanihan or to make you feel our commitment to sharing and education. So at this point, allow me now to call the administrator of Far Eastern University. She's the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, and she was monitoring the progress of our trainings. Please welcome Maria Teresa Trinidad Pipino. Ma'am?
Hello, everyone. Congratulations to everyone for this working hard through these 5 days to familiarize yourselves with the way in which we can deliver online education smoothly. So I have, I'll keep this very short. I just have 3 things to say. The first is, of course, to say thank you to all the participants. And then if you will allow me just to mention the people in the FEU team who worked very hard on this. So behind the scenes for technology, the head of our education technology department is Kathy Katamora, and assisted here with us today is Oliver. I think you're all familiar with Richmond. Apparently, Richmond was your instructor for Moodle. Richmond is also my instructor. I also message him a lot and ask him for Saklolo, please help me. I don't know how to do these things. So of course, thank you also to the Dean Harold Kulala's whole team and his institute, our Institute of Education. Dr. Kulala has under him people like Chini, Aparicio, Josephine Talan, Leo Cabanza, and there were other names apparently people who provided input, people like Ariel Kapati. These are all very our reliable education faculty who help us also, not just people outside of FEU. They help also the other teachers within FEU and help me also in understanding the best way in which to teach. I guess the thanks also have to go out to Liz Abanto for being always or ever reliable moderator. Not only for this, but in many of our FEU events, Liz is our organized moderator all the time. And then, of course, to the main proponent of this, there are actually 2. No? Behind the scenes is Dr. Mirna Quinto, who's the VP for Academic Development, and then the person right in front is Dr. Mayet Rivera. So my thanks to the FEU team. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, I'll really try to keep this short. Point number 2, I just want to give you a little bit of a background. Maybe you heard this already in some of the cuentos that were shared with you by the FE facilitators, but the FEU struggle with education technology is long, but I think seriously we started with Moodle. I think around 2014. We did some training for our teachers, and we tried to grapple with how we could understand and use Moodle. But in 2017, we shifted to another learning management system. FEU uses Canvas. And in 2017, when we shifted to Canvas, we did massive training for our faculty. And the training never stopped. We have training every year. There was, and that, actually, we continued on this summer. We had another comprehensive training for our faculty. So we were lucky enough to have that by the time March, the pandemic came along in March, we were lucky enough in FE to have had students as well as faculty very familiar with teaching online. We just had to do a little bit more training, but it was of course not smooth, nothing. We were all shocked when the quarantine was called, so it was not totally smooth, but it was and not painless, but I guess I would say less painful because we had been preparing for quite a while. So what I'd like to say is that share with you is that the training that we all went through, myself included, beginning 2017, was a training in technology. Indeed, it was that. We were becoming familiar with how to use technology, but it was paired with a very deep and I would say meaningful training in student-centered learning. So those two together, no, and very important. So for us, student-centered learning is a reorientate. It was a reorientation of how we looked at our teaching. No? We had to retrain ourselves to look at the students as people who were just like sponges, who were just absorbing knowledge, into real human beings who had their own thoughts and creativities and were people who could produce knowledge, which actually was inevitably what we want for our students. So not just that they absorb knowledge, but that they also produce knowledge. So the other learning also from student-centered learning is we as teachers had to reorient ourselves in the idea that we as teachers were in charge of the discipline of our students and that they had to follow us. With student-centered learning, we had to change that and recognize that students had their own creativities, they also had their own ideas, and that they could come up with solutions that were quite different, sometimes maybe even better than the ones that we know or what we had come up with. So that reorientation, it was difficult for many of our faculty, but also life-changing for many of them. And it was paired with training in understanding how technology can be used as a teaching tool. So we did those two things together. And so I'd like just to share with you that by doing that, we have been able to can I say, reap the benefits of that massive training that we went through, and our teaching now is very different, and it is also, we are, if I can say, somewhat familiar with technology already now. Okay, so the third and final point that I'd like to say really is I'd like to salute all of you. This is goes without saying, these times are very trying. They're sad times. They're shocking, so I salute you because I was inspired by what Sir Bagalong said. That he mentioned that he felt like that we were the luckiest teachers to have received this training, and I thought that kind of positive attitude is really much needed now. There's a lot of sadness and a lot of worry um, that is pervasive throughout the world now. And our role as teachers, if we can manage it, uh, to help bring positive spirit to our students and to our community, that's a wonderful contribution. So I felt moved by listening to Sir Bagalong say that he felt lucky at this time when people feel that the weight of the world is on them, to be able to still say I feel very lucky is a wonderful thing. And likewise, to be able to say, to join a 5-day seminar that is all about the future, when the situation is one, this pandemic feels like it's pulling us into the past, or at the very least it is like forcing us to stay still in our homes. We can't move, and yet your spirit is alive and positive, and you had resolved to say that we will be in this seminar because we're going to look to the future. This is a wonderful thing. That's the best that we can do for our students, is to be the positive spirit, to make them feel that there is an end to this. Happy days will be with us soon. And soon, as Attorney Milia says, maybe we will all be in one room together celebrating life, celebrating teaching. Thank you very much, everyone. Be brave.
Thank you so much, SB. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Trina Pino. Well, one thing I tell you, she's this one person who would push us to think of something new. I want to deliver something more effective for the students. And so she challenges all of us, and she has become very, very supportive, be that in the area of like the DLEC, the student-centered learning, which was integrated, or which was introduced immediately or just before the K-12 hit the university. And then as to the educational technology facilities, she really had supported Miss Kathy Katamora. Okay, we need these interactive rooms, we need this equipment. And in my case, she entrusted to me the production of the videos with the public intellectual lecturers, and we're so glad that somehow we were able to innovate and introduce changes in the delivery of instruction. And I'm very, very grateful that she has remained very supportive of us, and because she's the direct link to the president, so she's the one who reports, this is doing well, we have to support this, we're innovating. We're not like usually when they say universities, they think of the bigger ones, and they probably left us out. FEU, but I guess, my dear participants, you have known what we are capable of, and I'm seeing from your chat and the responses of our 3 representatives, we're glad that you have come to know more of us. The only way you can repay us perhaps is to communicate to all others, your neighbors, even your children. They can try the FEU education, right? Okay, so at this point, we will now move on to getting you recognized for your participation. I would encourage each and every one to look at your frame now. On your screen, there is that Padlet, okay? Click type in the URL. I want for each and every one of you to sign in. If you're from Luzon, put in your name and the institution. If you're in the Visayas, fill in the appropriate column, and so on for Mindanao. See the magic that will happen, all right? Do it now. So go to your Padlet, click into this link, and kindly write in immediately the schools where you come from and your names, okay? Fill up the appropriate column. So Sir Oliver, maybe we can show the Padlet as it is being filled out. Okay, we will have the virtual recognition of all the participants, okay? So we enjoin you to please open the Padlet and fill in the section. All right, so you would see now on your screen, we're taking cognizance of all our participants from Luzon. So we have, I cannot read all of them, but I hope you don't mind. I will read a few that I can see, okay? Mark Vincent Manlangit from Taguig City University, Julius Cancino, PUP, Michael Angelo Ranyosa from LPT, Marlon Holgado from Bataan Peninsula State University. We need more. Please, all of you, go on board now. And then from the Visayas, Paul, Ray, Mark, oh, I can't see from here. From Colegio San Agustin, Bacolod, Rezin Bahia from Cavite State University. Oh, please fill up the appropriate column. If you're from Luzon, Bataan, go to Luzon and Cavite. Keep this column for the Visayas for all those in the area. And then from Mindanao, of course, he's very participative, Sir Fernando Siquete Jr. Okay, it's too fast. Okay. Oh, the link now was too fast. Can you go back a little bit, Oliver? Mabilis daw yung link. The internet connection is slower than their access to the page. Can you go back again? And then we'll acknowledge all participants once again. All right, there's the link as you requested. Okay, so kindly fill in the appropriate column for your schools, and we will see some magic, okay, in a while. If you've copied already the link, can we go back to the Padlet? Sir Oli, if you wish to play the music, probably you can do that now, as you also show us what has been written in the Padlet. Wow, si Mark Vincent with picture pa talaga, graduation talaga, no? May toga talaga si Sir. Great. Okay. From the Visa, okay, from Mindanao, we also have Jason Vitala from General Santos City. Yes, of course, Dr. Sadami Bagolong who spoke on behalf of Mindanao. All right. Can you show us more names? Can you please, have you logged in? Okay, are we still having names entered, Sir Oli? Are they coming in? The internet connection, okay, you can scroll. Okay, thank you very much. All right, we see the names. Okay, all right. SV, Dean Harold, these are all your participants, more than 200 of them who were lucky to have joined us in the 5-day workshop, okay, or training. So they come from different parts of the country, and how they wish more people were able to go on board. More so when their colleagues in their schools found out that they were learning a lot. Once again, all the lessons, all the resources would be made available to you through the YouTube channel of Far Eastern University. And as we said, you can click always to the links that were provided to you so you can see the recordings and you can correspond with us. Okay. All right, so all the names, I wish that the screen was a whole lot bigger. You would see there the names of each person and the institutions where they come from. Sir Oli, can we put in the music now? Because the next slide is, we would now like to play the music. And then we would now like to recognize all the participants from Luzon. All right, from Luzon. So can we have music, Sir Oli? I would like to read virtually, no, the certificate that each one of you will be receiving. It says here, Far Eastern University awards this certificate of participation to all those who've listed their names under Luzon, all the Luzon attendees for attending the faculty training for wired flexible learning during the HIEd HIEd Bayanihan project. This certification is issued for the online trainings held from August 17 to 21 every 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon via Microsoft Live. Yes. From the administrators, we would like to congratulate the Luzon attendees. So Oli, can we go back to the Padlet? Then we go back to the Padlet. Okay, and now we would like to award the attendees from Visayas. So, yeah. The certificate reads, Far Eastern University awards the certificate of participation to all Visayas attendees for attending the faculty training for wired flexible learning during the HIEd HIEd Bayanihan project. This certification is issued for the online trainings held from August 17 to 21 to 20 every 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. via Microsoft Live. Let's give them a hand. We will show your faces in a while. And then, let's now award the people from Mindanao. So the certification reads, Far Eastern University awards the certificate of participation to Mindanao attendees for participating in the faculty training for wired flexible learning during the HIEd HIEd Bayanihan project. This certification is issued for the online trainings held from August 17 to 21 from 9 a.m. in the morning to 3 p.m. via Microsoft Live. All right, let's give each other a big hand. Sir Oli, at this juncture, can we take out the slide and then show everyone now? Put on your cams. Can we have Sir Oli or Sir, maybe Sir Rich, Teacher Rich, can you take a picture of everyone's faces here? We will have it, I think I have 6 or more than 6 pages. On the first page, you see, say, hey, hello, Miss Rosie, put on your cam. Miss Laarni Balansay, Lord, put on your cam. Yes, sir, Teacher Rich is there.
Hi.
Hello, yeah, you may switch on your mic at this point. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sana po wala nang post-test. Thank you.
Wala nang
I wish you could visit the FEU.
Yes.
Ayan si Bipa.
When we're allowed.
Then Harold, thank you.
May nagkukuha na po ng picture.
Sir Rich, thank you po.
Okay, now we'll move to the next page, okay? All right,
Sir Harold, thank you po.
Lilipat kami sa kabila.
Also.
All right, ayan, pakibukas, Jenny Bernardo, pakibukas ng cam. All right, sige.
Alice, hindi pa tapos ang picture taking. Can they open the cam because there are 7 pages?
Okay,
yes, please. There are 7 pages.
Turn on your cameras muna. Who's taking the pictures, Mayet?
I'm also taking.
Okay, because I'm not.
Yes, masyadong mabilis.
Okay.
Yes, can you turn on your cam, please?
Darnie, turn on your cam, put on your mic. Congratulations, finally we see you.
Smile, everyone.
So much FEU. Thank you po.
Thank you. This is a well.
Okay, standby lang.
Thank you.
Please practice po.
Thank you. Sir Richmond.
Po, standby.
Thank you.
Page pa lang.
Thank you, Ma'am Liz.
Mindanao.
Okay.
Yes po.
Congratulations, everyone.
Wala pa daw.
Dali lang po. Standby.
Ilan po tayo?
Sir Mark Vincent.
Yung pong mga nasa last pages, hindi na po natin makunan. Miss Rosie Abalos, Miss Weng, Miss Jill Angeles, Miss Guevara.
Okay. Turn on your mic to the next page. Hello. This is the time you turn on your mic.
Thank you po.
You're welcome po.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, FAU.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, FEU Chat.
FEU, Ched.
Okay.
You're most
Far Eastern
welcome.
University, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mama Banto.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, Liz. Okay ng picture, but don't leave, please.
We're so touched.
Thank you also,
We're so glad na natuto po kayo. Turuan niyo yung iba, ha?
Yes.
Please.
Yes. Okay.
Pwede pong hindi umalis ang participants. I can see the participants are leaving. Meron pa po tayong program.
May program pa po. Yung certificates, hindi mo ibibigay.
Kayo, magagalit si
Lima lang to, sir. Mabilis pala, no?
Denny,
Malapit na ba?
Bernardo.
I'll be saying again, Dr. Kulala, come September 16
Teacher
sa
Rich,
Yata for
Teacher
the
Rich,
national
thank you.
conference.
Thank you po.
May conference pa daw ng September.
Liz, yes, go ahead with the program,
That's
Liz.
one of the
Okay.
Jeyo, CIB po.
Alright, sige. Alright, off na natin muna yung mics natin. Patuloy tayo sa program. Alright? So muli sa lahat ng mga participants, congratulations. Mula po sa amin from Far Eastern University. Maraming salamat po at tiniis niyo po ang limang araw na sabi niyo nga, wala pang break.
TIB na lang kulang. Nag-bedrest na talaga.
Alright, okay. So let's proceed with the other parts of the program. At this point, dahil naka-on na yung mga
Sir Glenn Belaber, congratulations.
Alright.
Ay,
Okay,
Sir
off na
Paolo,
muna
thank
natin
you
yung
po.
mic. Off na muna natin yung mic.
Congratulations din po.
Yes, congratulations to all of you. You made it after, sayaw ba? Oli? At this point, pagpasalamatan naman na po natin ang lahat ulit na facilitators nyo. And to do that, we're calling in again the Dean of the Institute of Education, Dr. Harold Kulala. Dr. Harold?
Thank you very much, Ma'am Liz. At sa mga participants po natin, thank you. You know, when I facilitated the workshop the other day, we weren't able to talk and we weren't able to see each other because it was in Microsoft Teams and it was live. That's why we moved to Zoom, para we were able to see you and hear all of you. But you know, despite the live situation, we were able to communicate via different applications like Padlet, Mentimeter, Slido, you know, all these applications that you can use in your classes. I hope you learned from those applications. And you know, those applications were being used by our faculty and speakers in Far Eastern University. And I would like to personally thank all of them, starting from day one. If they're here, I would like to give my sincerest thanks on behalf of the whole FEU HIEd Bayanihan team. I'd like to thank our speakers, Mary Lorna Kahiwat, and of course, Mr. Joseph Hintalan, when they did the overview of online learning on day one. Thank you very much. For the introduction of LMS and Tech Shop sessions, the tandem, Kathy Katamora, our Director for EdTech, and of course, Teacher Rich, si Richmond Lim. And thank you very much for handling that session. Designing course expected learning outcomes for online learning. Thank you to our facilitator, John Angelo De Leon. Thank you. If you're here, thank you very much. Writing the course information booklet, Andrea Austria, also one of our faculty members in the Institute of Education. Teaching and learning declarative and functional knowledge, you know, Ariel Kapati. Ariel, if you're here, thank you so much. My session was assessment of declarative and functional knowledge. I hope you learned from that session. And our speaker for online presentation and performance-based assessment, Dr. Rosarito Sotenko. She's one of our research fellows in the Institute of Education. And today you did a breakout session, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the following faculty for art appreciation at pagpapahalaga sa sining, Mr. James Owen Saginsin. Thank you for facilitating art appreciation. For ethics, Mr. Marco Da Silva. The contemporary world or contemporary world, Mr. Israel Soberano. The life and works of Rizal, ang buhay at ang akda ni Rizal. Roman Sarmiento Jr. II. Thank you, Roman. Mathematics in the Modern World or Matematika at Makabagong Daigdig. Genesis John Borja of the Mathematics Department. Purposive Communication o Malayuning Komunikasyon. Maybelline Villaalba of the Institute of Education. Readings in Philippine History, mga babasahin hinggil sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas. Ms. Janet Hayat, also from the Institute of Education. Science, Technology, and Society or Agham, Teknolohiya at Lipunan. Again, Mr. Ariel Kapati. Understanding the Self or Pag-unawa sa Sarili. Leo Cabanza, thank you. And for general academics, Andrea, Austria. And I know we have been saying thanks to Miss Liz Abanto. I would like to personally thank her, Miss Liz, for helping us.
Thank you, Dean.
And also, let me take this opportunity because I know the next part is to thank the whole team. But I'd like to stress how I'm very thankful personally to Dr. Mayet Rivera and Dr. Chini Aparicio. Both of them led this FEU CHED HIEd Bayanihan project. Ma'am Mayet and Ma'am Chini, thank you very much. To all who participated, all the speakers who took time off and shared their experiences in teaching, their talent here. Thank you so much mula po sa amin sa FEU Institute of Education. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Dean Harold. Bata pa yung Dean namin. Ano po? So you would see talagang vibrant yung personality niya. Huh? and so that's why, yeah, and he has got a very good team with him. Okay. I don't know if my audio is quite clear because I'm having some problems, I guess, with my internet. I'm being challenged.
Very clear, Ma'am Liz.
Okay. It's my honor, Dean. Okay. Now, we would like to introduce to you the people who have been working so hard to get this project going. Okay. And behind the scenes, tanong ko nga pala muna, and you can please type. Yung programa ba natin, medyo ba smooth? Marami ba kayo nakikitang mali? Marami ba kayo nakikitang mga gaps? Mag-type po kayo dyan. Kung sa tingin nyo smooth, aba, hindi nyo alam hanggang anong oras kami nagmi-meeting. In the evenings, right after the sessions, in the morning before we go live, right after the 11 o'clock session, minsan gutom na kami, mag-12:30 na, hindi pa kami nakakakain na haba ng meeting. Tapos, makikita niyo po yung kakulitan ng ibang tao. Hindi niyo lang, of course, nakakita habang nag-chat kami, uy, yung slide, asan na yung audio? Bakit wala? Ganito, ganito. Ay, Diyos ko po. All of this, hindi niyo ba nahalata, hindi niyo po nakikita yung mga people who really work so hard to bring this project into fruition. Okay? So at this point, i-acknowledge po ng ating head, ng FEU CHED HIEd Bayanihan Project Team, ang mga taong nagbigay po ng support, moral, technical, financial, and spiritual support to make this project a success. Please welcome again Dr. Mayet Rivera.
Hello po, good afternoon. Maayong hapon sa tanan. And again, assalamualaikum sa atong mga kauban diha sa BARM at sa tanan pang mga lugar diri sa Mindanao. Ako po nasa Mindanao din po ngayon, and I know either it's sunny, I just closed my window dahil po lahat ng sunshine ay nandito sa akin. But I know in some parts of Mindanao it's rainy, and in some parts of Luzon also and Visayas. I'm very glad to present our team, our project team, and we would like to acknowledge all those who have worked very hard for this training. This training is brought to you, parang ganun, parang may advertisement, no? By our indefatigable team of FEU warriors, Tamaraos, coming from, of course, na-mention na po, Institutes of Education and Educational Technology. And I would like to say that they have carried the spirit of fortitude, excellence, and uprightness. Yun po yung core values of Far Eastern University. So to present po dito sa slides, makikita po natin. At please turn on your video po. Nandito po yung ating core team members para rin po makita kayo. These are our brave Tamaraos. Okay, so next slide. Okay. Sige, mukhang naglalag ng konti pagdating sa slide. Sasabihin ko na lang po kasi I think the slide is not there. Of course, we would like to acknowledge this FEU CHED HIEd Bayanihan Core Team is headed by our president, Dr. Michael Alba. Our Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Maria Teresa Trinidad Tino, you've heard her. Our FEU Vice President for Academic Development, Dr. Mirna P. Quinto. She had egged us and, wag kong sabihin, push us and really inspired us to put together the proposal first and then this training program. Our URC director, Dr. Generosa Pamitan, our Dean for the Institute of Education, you just heard him, Dr. Harold Kulala, and our Director for Educational Technology, Miss Catherine Catamora. Nandito po ba sila? No? Nadinig na natin. At I hope nakikita nyo po sa screen. Scroll nyo lang po para makita nyo yung mga faces at videos ng ating previously mentioned names. Ngayon po, ang core team members po, ako po yung laging namin mention. Ayoko na po sanang lumabas. Together with me is Dr. Chini Aparicio. Ma'am Chini, if you can be recognized. Are you here? Kaway-kaway naman dyan, Ma'am Chini. I know she's been working very hard on the background. Isa po siya sa maraming kamay at paa, no? Mga parang 10 po yung kamay niya, 10 rin yung paa niya. No? Lahat po ay nagagalaw. Lahat po ng slides at everything at sa background ay gumagalaw. Kasama po si Ma'am Chini sa gumagalaw doon. No? So talaga pong superwoman, Ma'am Chini. And then Mr. Joseph Hintalan also. Sir Joseph, pakilala ka naman. I hope you're here. Hindi lang natin ma-spotlight but I think you can show them if you will. You can view them if you will look at the screen. Also, Mr. Leo Cabanza, he also was one of our speakers kanina sa breakout rooms. At siya ay naging moderator po natin. So nakita niyo po ang ating Korean actor and ang ating gwapong-gwapong moderator ng Wednesday. At ang equally gwapo po sila lahat. Si Mr. Richmond Lim, si Teacher Rich, ang laging nag-a-appear sa ating mga sessions. Siya po ay overexposed na kumbaga at favorite ng iba dahil nga dun sa kanyang napakaraming tips dun sa mga training sessions. At the background, hindi nyo nakikita pero nagsalita po siya sa mga adverts natin. Si Mr. Oliver Brioso, siya po yung nagsalita. Nakita nyo dun sa advertisement natin about Canvas and how to use the features of Canvas. If you've noticed him, yan po si Oliver Brioso and he's now also at the background. And of course, our secretariat, ang ating nag-a-assist po sa atin ay si Miss Pipay, Josephine Quiñones. Josephine, are you also here? I hope you show yourself in the video. And then last but not the least, of course, our moderator, Professor Flordelis Abanto. So yan po lahat ang ating members of the core team at nagpapasalamat po ako sa tinatawag nating bravery in going through the trainings at para po kayong lahat ay mabigyan namin ng serbisyong tatak ng FEU, Fortitude, Excellence, and Uprightness. Ito po ang value namin at maraming salamat po at we're so honored to be of service to you. Good afternoon.
Maraming salamat, Dr. Mayet Rivera. No, nakita niyo na mga itsura ng mga tao. Talaga po, may mga eye bags na yan. Si Teacher Rich, si Oliver, si Miss Cathy is always on top of the situation. And Ma'am Chini, of course, Sir Joseph, grabe po, on board po talaga sila. No? So these people really work so hard other than your facilitators or your resource persons, not only during the 5-day training, but even in the cluster meetings kanina. We truly hope you've gained a lot from us. Sana this will not be the end, but rather this is just the start of our relationship. Let us learn from each other. Maybe we can, kasi nabanggit si Generoso Pamitan maybe we can explore a collaborative research and find out your experience of online learning in your respective schools. So hopefully we can provide CHIEd an idea of how we struggle, how we manage, how we adopted, and what else do we need to look into. Okay, that may have some impact or implication on policies and the delivery of instruction. Sir Oli, give me naman the music before I finally bid them goodbye, and for the last time, we show again everyone's faces on the screen. Could you give me some music, Sir Oli? All right. So, yes, okay. Again, friends, we're going to take a picture. You can give me some music, Sir Oli, after which I'm finally signing off this afternoon for our 5-day workshop, and I hope you will also you will be with us. Yes, we will. Yes, sir.
Before we formally close, maybe just to quickly invite them. You know, the Institute of Education has its journal. The name of the journal is Asian Journal on Perspectives in Education. I don't know whether the team can flash it. We have a poster ready to be flashed. Do we have? So this is a research journal for education, and we are inviting all of you, if you have a research paper or your thesis or dissertation that you'd like to be converted and be placed in a journal. So here's the call for papers. We have website. You can go to www.feu.edu.ph and go to the Institute of Education. Makikita nyo po doon ang option ng Asian Journal on Perspectives in Education. So palabas na po yung first issue in the coming weeks. We're now having a call for second issue for next year. So if you want to prepare for your paper, you still have one more year to submit. I think less than a year to submit, and it can be published for the next issue sometime in September next year. Para po sa inyong mga researchers, we're calling now for the second issue again of Asian Journal on Perspectives in Education from the Institute of Education. So thank you, Ma'am Liz. Sorry to cut you.
No, it's okay. Sorry, because I just saw the notice. Sorry, I was on mute. Okay.
Okay po.
Thank you once again, Dean Harold. Again, let me just reiterate, we are inviting you to participate or send in your research contributions to the journal as mentioned. So we're going to bid you goodbye. So goodbye once again. Thank you. And just before we finally close the session, please allow us to play our FEU hymn. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ayan mga kaibigan, so for the last time, I will show you the links for your attendance, evaluation, and post-test. So Sir Oliver, please take note. All right, my dear participants, ito po yun ang link para to finally conclude your requirements or to complete your requirements. Your certificates of attendance or participation will be emailed to you after we have cleaned all our records, validated your attendance and your evaluation, and also with the receipt of your CID. There were questions on the format. If you're talking about the file format, it is on MS Word. Okay? So once again, maraming salamat po. It's been an honor to have joined you for the last 5 days. And as they said, smooth daw. Thank you naman. At hindi nyo nakita po yung aming narag na presentations. Muli, mula sa Far Eastern University, maraming salamat po. Assalamualaikum.